Hello, and welcome again to Momentum Monday with me, Emily McHugh, your supercharged coach. And today we have an interesting discussion on how and why I use Notion. Okay? How and why I use Notion. And so you'll soon find out why this is such an important app. And I don't know, for those of you who are familiar with Notion, then you'll already kind of understand why you would be excited about it, because most people who do use Notion on a regular basis are very excited about this app. But before I get into delving into more about what Notion's about, I wanted to share a little highlight on our supercharged newsletter this week, the supercharged thought for this week. And the topic of the supercharged thought was embrace inevitability. And I had a quote there that buffaloes run into the storm, not away from it. And the idea is that storms come, things are going to happen, especially as entrepreneurs, and not to be derailed by inevitable activity that is sure to take place. So people, if things don't go as quickly as you want, or things go wrong, or something happens, and you're like, oh no, I have to quit, I have to give up because something wrong happened or something bad happened. That is not the mentality to have. And for the month of March coming up, the key topic that I'll be discussing in the Supercharge Club is mindset. And mindset is something we hear a lot about and discussed often, but it is the foundation. It's a fundamental tenet of entrepreneurship, really how you think. So embracing the inevitability is a part of that whole mindset process. And so in the process of making things a little bit more manageable, we have to keep ourselves organized and having a sense of structure and knowing where to find things when you need them. And so that is one of the reasons why Notion, that's where enter Notion, ergo Notion, that it helps with this process. So you can't control what's going to happen in the world. You can't control everything. But what you can do is try to be better organized. And when you're better organized, you do feel a little bit more in control and you're able to maybe weather the storm better. Hence, that is why this is so useful. So today I want to highlight three key reasons why I use Notion, why I like Notion, and how I use it. And the first one is its customization. Secondly, consolidation of information. And thirdly, organization. So let's just go right into it. So I'm going to show you, and before I even show you my Notion screen, I'm going to go live in Notion, but I just want to let you understand that there's so many ways you can use this app. So let me just start off before I start showing you screens and showing you things, and you're like, there's so many ways you can use it. You can use it for your purpose, how it suits you best. Okay, that's the first thing you need to understand. It can do almost anything you want. It can be a spreadsheet, it can be databases, it can be just plain old lists. You can use it very simply, like I want to make a list, boom, that's it. Or I want to make a very complex database with multiple reference points and multiple linkages and all kinds of drill downs. So just understand the breadth and depth, and therefore you calibrate it to what makes sense for you. Now, this is my third video where I'm actually talking about Notion. And I'll drop the links in the description regarding for YouTube what other videos I did. I did some like basic intros and different things so you can see, or pros and cons of why I like Notion and stuff. But today is really just giving you a sense of how and why I use it. And I will do some future videos delving into more detail, especially when it comes to project management. So you're not going to get an exhaustive overview of everything because time does not permit, but it really is to just give you a sense. Now, I think that this is a great tool for anybody, regardless of whether you have a different project management system or not, whether you use Asana, ClickUp, Trello, whatever. You can still use those things if you prefer or like them. But as for your project management, but Notion is a great place for notes, databases, and again, what I'm about to show you, and also project management if you choose to go that route. So it gives you flexibility. It's not one or the other. You could have a combination depending on what you use it for. Okay, so let's jump right in to the excitement of what is Notion. Yes, it definitely merits that. So what you're gonna see over here is a screen with a bunch of things on it. It so happens that what I have up, this is not the first screen that I actually wanted to show you, but since I have it up here, I am going to just explain to you like I can use it. Like, so today's my Momentum Monday. I actually have a database where I have the topics, the dates, and like where I want to write the description for, say, my the video, and I'll write it here on this page, and I can use it. But that was something I was typing before I went live. I went and typed my description, so later on, I can copy and paste it into YouTube. I can copy and paste it into Facebook or wherever else I may need to use it, and or OneStream or what have you. And so that's what I just have as a note. But today, what I wanted to start with is a blank page. This is just an introduction to my homepage in Notion. I'm not going to go through that today. It's going to be too much. So I have a demo spaces, and I'm going to start with the demo space. So imagine that this is, I'm going to go into full screen, and this is a blank page. So when you go into Notion, you wouldn't have this little balloon, you wouldn't have that, you wouldn't have any words, demo space. It literally would be blank, and it gives you some prompts. So you have an empty page, you can just go and start writing anything you want. You can also write with an AI prompt, and I use this sometimes for like blog posts. I can just put in some words, and that's a whole separate video. Type in whatever, and it will start to give me prompts, and I can go from there. I can import information. So if you say you have info in Evernote or Trello, Asana, whatever, some other document, you want to bring it in, you can import the data in, or you could just copy and paste stuff into Notion as well. If you can use different templates, I'm not going to click that right now because that will just change the whole dynamic. You can have different ways you can view the page and so on. So right now, let's say I want to just start with an empty page. I want a blank canvas. Do with it as you will. And so what you'll notice is when I move the cursor, you see how that this moves down that little block of text? Okay, that is called a block. That is the name of it. It's a block. And when you just highlight the cursor, you'll see those little 6 dots in front of it, and you see a plus sign. It's very light. I know it's hard to see. And that allows you to now create what you want. So you can turn this block into different items. You can turn it into a toggle list. You can make things where you can drop down. So let's say I wanted to make a list, all right, of something. And I want other things underneath the list. Let's say I want to have a checklist and of to-do items. Post video, well, maybe create video or something. So like that, let's say, well, it would be the other way around, wouldn't it? So let's say it is indeed the other way around, and I don't want to type it over. Just drag and drop and move it in the order you want it. And you just keep going, and you can show like a long recurring list size for SEO. I can go on and on, okay? And then I can toggle up, roll up that list if I want. So you can imagine all the different things I could do here. This is just one simple little example. If I want to make this page more exciting, let's say I want to change that icon that I have. I can use emojis. I could change it to that. This is where the fun begins. You can customize it and bring in other types of icons you want to use. So you really can do some interesting things. You can also type the name of what you want here for your title. Say that you are working on a book and you want to write notes for your book, and you can call this book notes. You can drop down, create all these things. Why is this so cool? Why not just do it on a, what do you call it, spreadsheet or something like that, which obviously you could. Notion also has an app on your phone. So you can have this with you anywhere you go. If the idea comes to you in the middle of the night, in the middle of the morning, wherever you are, you can quickly put it into your Notion space where you want that information to go. So you can always find it when you need it. That's the thing about Notion that I love the most. I know where I have the stuff. And even if I'm not sure, remember like where exactly I put it, I can do a search and I can find it. So it brings an end to all the notebooks. There's no one who has more notebooks than myself, like nobody. And if you were to say, please find the note you wrote 2 years ago at such and such a conference, I couldn't begin to tell you where it is. But, well, kind of, but not very well. But in Notion, I can. So I'm going to show you how I do my notes in a moment. So let's say, for example, okay, so all right, let me not get ahead of myself. This is why Notion can get complicated, because that's why people call it a second brain or a third brain or whatever, because you can organize so many things going on in your head at once. And that's what's amazing about it. So I'm not going to jump to something else. Let me just stay focused on this. So this is just an example. I made a list. I can make all kinds of other things. I can add hierarchy to this and create like a header. I'm going to call it header. All right, so you can do things of that sort. I can toggle my header. I can turn it into something else. So this, again, I'm just not even scratching the surface of what this thing can do. But just to give you a bit of an introduction. So you can, again, this is a block. Each piece is a block. It can go then, if I wanted to go deeper and write more inside of its own separate page. So I'm going to say, okay, details. Let's call it that. And I want to go back to where I was before. I hope this is making sense to you guys. If it's not, just let me know any questions you have. So you can create hierarchy. The beauty of Notion is hierarchy of information, and you determine how you want to make that hierarchy. So I'm looking away, of course, because my other screen is over here, and you just do that. You can roll things up, you can add things down, and go on. The sky's the limit to what you can add. Now I'm going to do one more thing on here. Like, I want to make this pretty. I want to add a cool cover. And I can go to Unsplash and I can look for an image. And I can just type a keyword. Keywords are your friends. Always. Remember that. And here, let's go with the theme of my balloons. So there you go. So you can make it beautiful. You can add imagery. You can import your own images that you may want to customize. So you can see I'm going from a blank empty space to this canvas where I'm creating. And that's one of the things I love about Notion. So now let me move right along, because as I said, this can go on, and I don't want it to go on too much today. All right, so now let's get into some consolidation. So here, I'm going to give you an example of how I consolidate data. And so this big old database here, it says Bible scripture references. This is a database that I created of scripture texts that I read each day. So let's say, for example, today is February 27th, and I have the book of Joshua in here. Let me just show you. Open it up. All right. This thing opening to the side is one of those pages where I was before. Now I'm going to reduce it so you can see it a little better, and I can make this page larger. So you can see the subscreen. So I have the text, I have the date, I have the day of the year, and I have the actual scripture text that I have in there. And I used to do this by hand in a notebook, which I actually still write in the notebook. This is a perfect case study of why this is so valuable. So I was writing a scripture, like journal, if you will, and I was writing by hand the dates, the scripture, exactly what you're seeing on here. I was doing it by hand. But the problem I ran into was, how do I remember what scripture I wrote about 3 months ago without thumbing through the book to go and find it? So I'd end up duplicating scriptures. I'd end up writing the same thing over again. And I'm like, I can't thumb through the page every day. What happens when I reach page, 300, and I'm going to go through 300 scriptures? So I learned early on that I needed to create a database. So what I did was I came into Notion, all right, created a database just like I'm showing you to replicate what I was doing by hand. So now if I want to find a scripture passage, or like, let's say a theme, like I want to find all the scriptures related to faith, I go into the search bar, I type in faith, and boom, it pulls it all up. These are all the scriptures related to faith that I've written on so far. Isn't that amazing? Yes, that is amazing. I think that is very amazing. Absolutely. Yes, it is. So I love it. And so imagine this is a scripture. I do this for all kinds of other things, all kinds of other databases, but this is a perfect example of converting from the manual to the digital. So that's one example. Yes, I get very excited when it comes to Notion because it's very, very powerful. And it allows you to, again, find duplicates, find wherever you want. So that is one thing. And then you can go and then write. So let me just show you this real quick before I go on to the next thing. Say today, the 27th, I wanted to write something about the scripture. And I said, this is an interesting scripture and so forth, learn so much, etc. And I can just go ahead and write all the notes I want regarding this scripture, right here in Notion, okay? And then I can find it easily anytime in the future. That's awesome. Yes, it is. So that's just a example of how amazing this is. So let's give you one more example. So that's like you can consolidate information. And so now I'm going to go back and show you how you can kind of organize. It's just a similar thing. So imagine you have recipes, people. You have recipes and you want them in one place, not just on bits of paper all throughout your kitchen. You can actually consolidate them into Notion. Yes, you can. Okay. And so this is just, and I think I got this template. I did not create this template from scratch. I think I got it from Marie Poulain, where you can download, people can create templates that you can import into Notion as well. So I think I imported this, and it's a vegan or vegetarian recipes. So let's say I'm interested in this black lentil harissa stuff. I go in here. I think she had the link from where she got the recipe, Bon Appetit magazine. I can put the link in there. It shows all the imagery of what the thing looks like, and you can click right into the link and get the recipe. That's one way to use it. Another way to use this is if you wanted to, let's see, let me just get out of this one. So what you're seeing here, it's getting the recipe from the different sources, putting the sources where you get it from. You can tag it like how you would use it. Is it breakfast? Is it dinner? Is it a sauce? Is it, whatever. And then you can use it that way. Now you can rearrange the information as well. Let's see if I can show that to you really quickly. So edit the view. I want to see this as maybe, let me see here, layout. This is a layout. I want to see it as a list. So there it is as a list. And you can see it any which way you want. I want to see it as a gallery. That's how I had it before. I want to see it as a board. That's a bit too long. That won't look so good like that. And you can just see it in different ways that make sense. All right, this is more in a database format, and how long it takes to prepare, what course it is, and you can tag it however you want. So this, again, this is from one concept, all the different ways you can use it, all the different ways you can arrange it. So imagine applying that to your business. Imagine applying it to any project that you're working on. So that is the power of what Notion can do for you. Cashew red curry, go in there. I want to see what that's about. So you go in, you click it, open it, and you see the ingredients that it has. You can write any other notes you want. I think this has the pictures here, the instructions. I mean, people, Notion's incredible. But you can import this. It doesn't come pre-made this way. As I said, this was from someone else's template. Again, I think it was Marie Poulain, who was quite the Notion whiz. And I want to open the full page of that curry thing so you can see it and see everything, all the steps, the instructions, all the stuff that you need for this. And then you can copy and paste the ingredients, put it on a shopping list, also in Notion, and go and buy the stuff. So let me do the recap. Today's Momentum Monday is, again, jumping into Notion, getting a sense of what it can do and how I use it for certain things and why I use it, because it's a place to consolidate my life. I mean, almost every aspect of my life is in here. If I'm taking notes, like I go to an event and I need to take notes, I can do so. I can put it in a database. I can find the notes. If I'm in church and I hear a sermon, I want to take notes, I can put it in a database. I can find it. If I'm on a conference call, if I'm on a Zoom call, people put links in the chat. I can copy and paste them and put them into a note. I can find it after the event, make it actionable, and put it on my calendar and get to work. Now you will notice I have not shown you my calendar. I have not shown you my project management, because that's a whole other beast, which we will save for another day. But just to give you a sense, but I will do something separate when it comes to project management. All right, well, I hope that this will be helpful to you. It gives you a little bit of a sense, a little insight as to how you possibly could use Notion for your advantage and to your benefit in organizing your work, organizing your life. And as I said, I certainly will be doing more of this, because again, this is just a little piece of what Notion can do for you. So I want to thank you everyone again for watching me today. And again, remember to subscribe, like, share, comment, let me know any questions that you have. And really just try Notion out. The version I showed you was free. They have other paid versions depending on how you use it, but I use put a ton of stuff in there, and my version is free, and I love it. I love Notion, let it be known. So I want you to invite you to join the Supercharge Club. We're meeting this next Thursday. Coming up this, we're starting on mindset. If you want, if you're overwhelmed, if you're feeling like you could use some more guidance in planning for your business, that's what the Supercharge Club is about. So I invite you to check it out if you'd like to know more. Subscribe to the channel, and please stay supercharged. I wish you a great week ahead, and see you next time. Bye-bye.